And his company's come a long way, and I'm looking forward to his presentation.
Awesome.
Cheers, man.
Thanks, Randy. Hey, what a better place to be. Monday afternoon drinking beer, huh? Love it. Sunny and everything. I'm Dave Stonehouse with VeryMap. We've developed some very interesting and disruptive infrared mapping technology that we've caught the attention of probably 3 major companies. One of the first ones is in the top left corner of the slide there, called Drone America. So 2012, they said to us, hey, is it possible that you guys could track illegal fishing operations off the coast of Indonesia with your fire mapping system? And the answer, of course, was yes, instantly. And it's really only an offshoot of our fire mapping software, looks for hotspots. But that was the big thing. The project didn't come together based on, we're talking South Pacific and Indonesia, so there was some challenges with the government and all. But this is the slide of the companies that we've worked with. And there's some really interesting ones I like up there. There's a story with each one. There's not enough time today. U.S. Marines, Camp Pendleton, that was our first project that came off the internet, if you can believe it, 1998. So from there, these guys helped us through the development of the project. And here's where this is the description of essentially the technology. The vision, we like to work with amazing people and take on big challenges. So this is the technology that we're talking about, the disruptive technology. We can plant any camera in a tube, essentially, with a mirror. The mirror rotates across the ground and gives us the mechanical leverage of 10 times any other thermal camera system out there. And the slide is not moving. Okay. There we go. So this is how it actually works on the ground. So essentially, the camera you saw before scans the ground and makes this kind of picture squares on the ground, and this is the leverage that we've got. This is the disruption. How to make a 1 megapixel thermal camera act like 100. And that's where we've caught the attention of these other companies. The main problem in the applications: search and rescue, smoldering fires, illegal fishing was the big one, and then commercial roofing conditions. These are the main things that we're focusing on. This brings up the next company that was looking at us. And by the way, the previous one was, they asked us if we could build 100 camera systems. And that instantly turned us on from the service side of the scenario to manufacturing. And this is where it gets more complicated for us. So commercial roofing, we've already known for years, works really well. So the company that asked us, or we have been working with, already maps in the US. They're a huge mapping company. They already map residential roofs with color cameras. They do $150 million a year. And essentially, what we can do for them is they want to add the commercial roofing aspect to their revenue stream. Thermal imaging is the only way to tackle commercial roofs. By way, what we can do is we can identify the type of roof, whether it's PVC, metal roofs, EDPM, gravel, and we can tell what's going on. If you can see the image on the right, those little white areas are damaged areas. So the company is going to sell this imagery to insurance actuaries, roofers, it goes on. And it's like a record player, so you can sell it over and over again. With the mechanics and the mechanical advantage, we can map a city literally in an hour and a half. And that's worth a lot to them. So this is what we're looking at over the next while. And this is why I'm looking for angels in this room to help us. We are tackling an elephant. The elephant being an $800 million company. They do $150 million a year. And they're looking at us to help increase their revenues. So essentially, if they buy 100 camera systems, that's $30 million. The other, Drone America, again, same thing. So the 3 companies, including fire mapping in the US, that's $90 million over 4 years. So it's a bigger fish than we've tackled so far. That's why having your experience with angels, your experience in the world, we're looking for help in negotiating potentially licensing agreements, which we haven't tackled before. The current company valuation right now is $2 million. We've got 4 actually prototype cameras that we've got. I only talked about one. The full subscription agreement that we've got placed right now is $1 million. It's 2 vehicles. It's a convertible preferred share at 15%, and then common shares at 20 cents a share. Minimum $50,000. There's only 20 common share spots left. And lastly, where we're going for the next 90 days is that we have already started the build on that new camera that we saw in the first slide. The first slide essentially is in build. The camera will be assembled in April, we'll be flying it in May, and we should be online in June. And this is where the company in the US, the mapping company, wants to test our metal. They want to hire us for a project, so we need part of that subscription fulfilled so I can hire the right people that are standing in the wings, ready to jump on board. So that's our exciting story for now. And I'd like to open up if there's any questions. Thanks so much.
First, we give him a hand, though, right? Being the first guy of the day really sucks, as some people found out over the weekend. How's that? You know, David. So one of the things I want to ask is go right to the valuation piece. You have your company's worth $2 million, and you're raising $1 million. Is that a pre-money or post-money valuation?
That's pre-money evaluation.
Okay.
So essentially the $1 million, if we sell out the subscription, that would be a 30%-ish, 28% ownership of the
Exactly
company.
the question I was looking to do.
Yes.
And then, of course, you know, this is the big throw of the dice here is you're betting the whole farm on this one company. How close are you to locking that contract up? Because really, you lock that contract up, all of this comes true.
Correct. And there's just not the one company, there's the 3 companies.
Okay, so do you want to talk about the other 2?
Yeah, the other 2 are Drone America, the same thing. They're an amazing company that we came across in 2012. They build twin-engine drones, and that's the one that asked us if we could map the illegal fishing. So they're building drones as we speak. So our technology now is, I forgot to mention, from 300 pounds, we're down to 10 pounds. And that fits in that 55-pound drone that can fly for 15 hours. So it just goes and goes and goes. So the last one is the US Fire Service. With this system, we've proven in 2010 that we flew over a grid site for fire mapping in Alberta. So everybody else was 2 hours with a helicopter hovering over this area looking for false fires. We were done in 37 seconds.
So that's my 2 questions. Let's see what the floor's got. Any questions from the floor? Anyone? Anyone? Ferrets? Ooh. There we go. Adam's first. Then Adam, then Danny.
Can you tell us about your IP strategy?
Seeing what?
Intellectual property strategy.
Intellectual property. Currently, we're practicing the Coca-Cola method. We're not patenting it. It's a process patent that would be executed. However, they're difficult to protect. So the complexity of our system, the processes, that's the barrier to entry, really. It's kind of like Mount Everest if we get into details. So that was we've got a lot of services. All our software is custom. We built it ourselves. So that's all our IP.
I've known David a long time. If you want, he will definitely tell you the Mount Everest story. How's that? You want to get into technology with him, he'll talk about you all day long.
All day.
Danny.
First of all, great pitch. Tough going first. Proud of you.
Thank you.
Just a question about so you guys are providing the camera and the software that's in behind it that figures out what the camera is taking? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, to touch on a little technical, essentially the camera system, yes, is what we provide. With that is what they call GPS, differential GPS, and we also add what they call IMU, or inertial measurement unit. It's a gyro. So tightly coupled together, it gives us half a meter positioning in the air, and the software automatically ortho-rectifies the imagery, which is like a Google Earth map. And the next generation, what we're building now, produces the map on the aircraft, so when it lands, it's done, and the next version, very close down the road, will be emailing the maps to the ground. So fire mapping and all, those guys need this stuff. So again, there's hundreds of helicopters in the US that, based on this company, we've just contracted Area 51 in Calgary, they're brilliant. Brilliant. They changed our design slightly, and it tripled our reach for where this camera could go. So we are ecstatic. I didn't talk about the color camera,
I don't.
and I can't.
Good
So-
job answering that question without getting too nerdy too.
Awesome.
So we're gonna take one more
Practice.
question, but at the end, after everyone's had 2 beers, we're gonna see who can come up to the front and say ortho-rectify 5 times.
There's a prize.
Okay, so John, you have the last question.
Okay, last question. What's your biggest risk? So what's not going to make this deal go through?
I die.
So you're that close.
Thanks, John.
Guaranteed?
Guaranteed.
Well, that's a tough word. We've got 3 companies. They are ecstatic. We spent 10 months last year getting the meeting with this company that came up, this big elephant. 10 months to come up. And the other secret is that we've got an insider in that company who's a pilot of ours for the last 10 years. He's now working as a director of sales in the northwest of the US. So essentially, he's the guy who's talking with the CEO this week on how they are going to implement commercial mapping with us.
Dave, well done. Great job.
They call that setting the bar, by the way. So well played, well played. So I want to say that actually walking in the room late, grabbing a beer is the guy that made VA happen. One of my favorite guys in the whole world is Terry Booth. Collins Barrow has been a big supporter.